Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up weekdays, catch us live somebody. Let's go.
Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. Y'all, we got some things we got to talk about. There's a lot of things that are going on outside of this country, a little bit outside of our country, and, about to do some serious damage out here in the Caribbean. And we have got to talk about it, because it's not only just Jamaica, from what I'm understanding. There's a bunch of other places, other countries, and possibly the East Coast of America that are going to get rocked by this Category 4 storm right now. And this is pretty wild, this Hurricane Melissa. So we've got to talk about this. This is absolutely crazy. And I had something else completely different planned, but this is what's going on right now. So we need to talk about it and let the people know. So if you are in the Jamaica area, okay, I'm thinking about you guys, okay? Pack up your stuff and go. But please do me a favor, hit that like button down below, crush it. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. Let it do what it do. All right? Make sure to follow me on those platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. Make sure you go and do that, please and thank you. Okay? Subscribe here on my main channel, The Pascal Show, but also go check out The Pascal Show Clips, Pascal Raw. We got some really great stuff on clips that are coming out on the Pascal Show Clips as of late. You guys have been checking those things out, which I really do appreciate. Continue, okay? Because there's going to be more clips coming. Promise you, okay? Because even in this show, we're going to be talking about a bunch of different things other than just the hurricane. All right? So please make sure you subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, and all of that good stuff. That would be fantastic. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. We got really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Especially now that everything's getting kind of cold. You know, the weather's changing, okay? The weather outside is frightful. You know what I mean? We got some really great stuff. PascalMerch.com. Go check it out. Anyway, guys, we have got to get into this conversation. Obviously, there's a lot that's going on. I hope you guys had a wonderful Saturday, and I hope your Sunday has been good. But for people that are out in the Jamaica, actually just in the Caribbean, I'm very concerned, just in general, okay? We got this hurricane. Hurricane Melissa is out here in these streets, and she wants to start some issues, y'all. She wants to start some problems. And no, I'm not talking about, your favorite, Bad Girls Club or something crazy like that, all right? We talking about the real deal, Hurricane Melissa, and she is irate right now, okay? She is in her fee-fees, and I don't know why, okay? I don't know why, but this is absolutely crazy. And, of course, this hurricane's getting closer and closer, they're saying, to the west side of Jamaica, okay? That's what's going on. That's the first place it's going to hit, where it's going to hit landfall for the first time, from my understanding. Okay. And the fact that this hurricane keeps getting stronger as time has gone on is absolutely insane. Don't worry, we're going to be looking at some live footage. There's a lot of stuff that we need to talk about. A lot of Jamaicans are packing up. Some people are being brave enough. Some would say brave. Some would say absolutely crazy to try to stick around. Okay. But nonetheless, there are people that are going to be sticking around and are just going to brave this hurricane. But we've seen this before. We've seen this in Florida. We've seen this in many other places, right? When a hurricane comes through, some brave soul will sit there and go, no, I'm staying right here. I ain't going nowhere. I'm standing 10 toes down, bro. So prayers to anybody who decides to stick around for this situation. But let's get into this article, okay? I just say pack up your ish, and if you can get out, get out. Run for the dumb darn hills. That's just what I think, okay? But let me close this here. So, Hurricane Melissa, now a Category 4 storm, is expected to gain force as it threatens catastrophic damage to Jamaica and other Caribbean islands. Yeah, they're saying the likes of Haiti and etc. I mean, this is bad, you know. And also, I'm going to say this, you know, like Jamaica hasn't really been, from what I remember, you know, and I know somebody out there is going to be like, well, actually, what happened here? You're technically wrong, but Haiti just keeps on getting hit. Okay, like Haiti just keeps on getting hit with all kinds of different things. If it's not gangs taking over the entire country, it's a hurricane or 2 or 3 or 4. You see what I'm saying? Like Haiti just needs a break. Okay. And Jamaica, you know, Jamaica needs a break too. Every country, okay, needs a break. The East Coast of America needs a doggone break. Okay. Dag nabbit. All right. But still, damn, Haiti keeps on getting hit, y'all. Like it's insane. But let me continue. All right. So that's Jamaica and other Caribbean islands. Okay. Forecasters say Melissa will reach Category 5 intensity with winds surpassing 150 miles per hour later in the coming days. So they believe that Jamaica, that Melissa is going to make her grand entrance in Jamaica by Tuesday. That's what they're saying. That Jamaica about to get rocked by Melissa. Okay. I know, Silva. Like, we all need a break. Not only just Haiti. Okay. Okay. Forget the country of Haiti. I need a break. Okay. I need a mother loving break. Can we talk about something cool that's positive? But no, that's not the world that we live in right now. Okay. It's not like, ooh, the local candy shop is making, I don't know, cotton, just built his own homemade cotton candy machine. You know what I'm saying? We don't live in that world, unfortunately. We just don't. Ooh, you know, we just don't live in that world, unfortunately. All right. But they're saying this will go to a Category 5. All right. Surpassing winds of 150 miles per hour. So, as the storm breaks northwest through the Caribbean Sea, it is expected to bring damaging winds, heavy rainfall, life-threatening flash flooding, and risks of landslides to Jamaica. Excuse me. They're saying, shoot. I mean, well, obviously, we're already seeing all that stuff happening right now. Okay, they're expecting this stuff to start hitting soon. Okay, as soon as today. Just in case you didn't know, today's the 26th. So if you're just waking up and getting the sleep out your eyes, yeah, it is the 26th of October. The strongest winds will hit early in the week, though catastrophic conditions are likely to begin much earlier. All right, and this is what the National Hurricane Center said. A hurricane warning is in effect October 26th today for Jamaica, as the slow-moving storm is brewed 110 miles off of the coast of the country's capital. When the powerful hurricane makes its forecast landfall between late October 27th, and early October 28th, Melissa is expected to be, quote unquote, an upper end Category 4 hurricane, which could be the strongest direct landfall for the island since tropical storm records have been kept. Since tropical storm records have been kept, the National Hurricane Center said. And you can see people are starting to, looks like they're trying to, well, it looks like they're getting essentials, trying to get the hell out of there. That's what it looks like there. But when Hurricane Melissa makes landfall in Jamaica, it'll only be the 5th major hurricane on record to strike the nation. See, they get lucky. And good thing that they are lucky in that way. But diggity damn. Okay? This is insane. This is insane. And of course, I'm interested to see what's going to happen here. I mean, you never know. It might drop. It might drop down to a category 3. It might completely drop to just you see what I'm saying? Anything can happen. And over the next couple days, anything can happen. It can get even more intense, or it can slow all the way down. But we'll see what happens. With a forecast landfall speed of 150 miles an hour, the storm would easily surpass the island's strongest on record, like we just heard a second ago. Hurricane Gilbert made landfall as a high-end Category 3 hurricane in September of 1988. So it's been that long, guys, since a hurricane has ever touched them dumb hills of Jamaica. Okay? Just so you guys know, which is insane. By the way, I'm asking a question for a friend. I just want to know, where do they come up with the names for these hurricanes? Is it whoever discovers the hurricane and that's when they name the hurricane off of that person? Like, I'm just curious, how do you know what I'm saying? Because there's Hurricane Gilbert. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's only 2 people on this planet that I know is named Gilbert. Gilbert Gottfried and the cartoon Gilbert. You see what I'm saying? There's not a lot of people named Gilbert. So what makes somebody say, yeah, we just going to call it Hurricane Gilbert? Is it literally like when they see a comet or they see a star, they discover a new star, they're like, I'm going to name it Xena after my granddaughter. You see what I'm saying? How do they come up with the names? Because I thought they went alphabetically, right? But why do they keep on, like, see, Melissa's in her feelings too. I see Melissa. I see you, girl. You know what I'm saying? You're like, why does it have to be my name that's going in here and demolishing a whole country? You know what I'm saying? But I am kind of curious about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, who does, you know, like, you've heard that whole thing, like, we're going to name it. We need to name it Melissa. Okay, good name. Why? That's my ex-wife's name. You know what I'm saying? So why does Melissa, of all the M's in the world, all the names that, you know what I mean? Like, why Gilbert? I'm asking, literally, somebody out there has to know that answer. Somebody has to know that answer, right? Hurricane Katrina. Why was it Katrina? Did a girl named Katrina go, oh, I can see that, doing the math, and I can see the trajectory of these winds. I have a feeling that this is going to turn into a hurricane. And then he said, wow, you're good. You called it. We're going to name it after you, girl. After what? All this devastation, destroying all of Louisiana. No big deal. We're going to call it after you. Doesn't that make you feel good? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It just doesn't. I haven't seen like a Hurricane Yolanda. I'm being real. Have you seen a Yolanda? I don't think we've even gotten to Z yet. We just keep hopping back up. You know what I'm saying? Think about it for a second, y'all. I thought it was like they go back. Once they go to Z, for those my European friends. Okay. Bonjour. Once you get to Z, right? Z, you go back to the top, to the beginning of the alphabet. You don't just hop around and stick around with the K, J's, and the L's, and the M's, and the N's. And maybe a G. Gilbert. You see what I'm saying? Never mind. I'm just asking for a friend. Somebody knows. Somebody out there knows the term why. Okay? But damn. Okay? Let's move on, though. Hurricane Melissa is expected to make landfall near the Jamaican coast by the 28th. So they think it's going to happen on Tuesday. All right? That's going to happen on Tuesday, but we'll see what happens before moving across the island and over to eastern Cuba. So Cuba in trouble, okay? Cuba in trouble. They say it could be hitting Haiti, the Dominican Republic, parts of Cuba, the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos. So there goes your vacations. Okay, guys. They could be seeing life-threatening flash flooding and the potential for landslides later in the week as the storm passes through the Caribbean. This is what the National Hurricane Center said October 26th, today. Okay? But like I said, still want to know about the names, okay? Tyler, thank you so much for being a member for over 32 months. Damn, thank you so much. Prayers for Jamaica and everybody else. And everyone else, indeed, absolutely. Prayers all around. I mean, they say Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cuba, Turks and Caicos, Bahamas. And let's not forget, if it stays strong enough and it goes through all of those, in the wake of all of it, all those countries and those islands get hit, let's not forget the East Coast of America. If it keeps going in the trajectory they believe it's going to, it could also possibly hit East Coast. So prayers to everybody. Real talk. This is not good. Okay? And yes, Brandy, this is a very, it's funny, like, you have clothes and then you forget that you have them and then you see them and you're like, oh, damn. And it's a rainy ass, cold ass day today. So I was like, this is a perfect day to rock this. And yeah, now I'm warm. I was comfy and now I'm just warm. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So again, yes, this is very comfortable. I love this hoodie. I just haven't touched it in a while. Haven't worn it in a long time. But anyway, moving on. Let us get into some live feed footage conversations about what's going on right here.
For impact, Melissa expected to grow into a Category 5 monster. With Jamaica, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic in its sight, officials say airports in Jamaica are now shut down. Meteorologist Jeff Banson has the latest track and timing. Jeff.
Andrew, we just got the 5 o'clock Eastern update in, and the biggest change of this, really not much change in terms of strength and track, but significant little tidbit here. So Melissa's still a 4. We've upped the winds by 5 miles per hour on the sustained side. We've upped them by more, up to 175 mile per hour wind gusts right now. The change that I'm referring to is that there is a chance that once Melissa does strengthen, if and when that happens tonight, into a Category 5, that it may actually remain a Category 5 through the landfall. Also, something I want you to take note of here is the track. We've trended even further to the west coast of Jamaica now. So a little bit further away from Kingston, that's good news, but still expecting a landfall somewhere on the western half of the island early Tuesday morning. It'll be over the island by about Tuesday night. It moves up into eastern Cuba. Still a very powerful storm here, eventually through the Bahamas and up towards Bermuda by the time we get to the end of the week. So this just has a list of countries on its radar here, and it is just checking them off. So even though we're going to see a weaker storm at some point, still going to be effects from multiple nations as we go through the end of the week.
Now, really quick, from what I'm gathering, it sounds like it's just going to rev up and it's just going to stay stuck up there, okay? Because it's up, so it's stuck, right? It's just going to get stuck up there. And it's just going to blaze right through some of these countries, some of these islands, not giving a damn, not letting off. Just pedal to the metal, Category 5. Which is crazy and not good, okay? Extremely dangerous. So again, for those of y'all who are in there, okay, whoever's out there in Jamaica watching the show, Cuba, even all y'all in Haiti, okay? Oh, let's not forget Bermuda up above, okay? That's a little bit more northeast. Seriously, be careful, okay? Pack up your things if you're able to go. Let me just say this, okay? You are on an island. Real talk, I mean this with all the love and care and concern in my heart. Where do you go? Like, it's not like they can just go out into the ocean and get away, right? The hurricane's coming. So when they say, like, evacuate everyone, you know what I mean? Oh, God, evacuate, run for the hills. You can't really run for the hills, though. So where do you go? Where do you go? Where do you go? It's not like you can just hop in a boat And you damn for sure can't fly away. I mean, could you fly away right now? If it's already bad, you can't really fly away right now. Winds are going to be insane right now. So what you go into a bunker? I'm being dead ass right now. Where do you go? I mean, it's the same thing I would say to anybody who's in Haiti or Cuba. Prayer Kid said, you run inland. But there is no inland. Like, look, no. I want you to see this. Look at Jamaica. It is highlighted in all red. Okay? It's a small country. It's a small island. Okay? Sure. I'm talking about where you are. If you have the money and you can get a private plane and fly the hell off that island, then fly the hell off that island if you can. But I'm talking about, like, if you stuck, where the F do you go? The whole look at the doggone island is highlighted red. It is done. Where do you go? You know? And it's not a situation where you go and take the high ground. This mother lover's taking over. It's like a big old vacuum cleaner just going right over that country. So where do you go? You know what I'm saying? There's nowhere to go. See what I'm saying? Like it sounds like a horror flick. I know it's Halloween and everything, but you know what I'm saying? There is nowhere to go. Where do you go? A mountain is a good idea? A mountain is a good idea? I'm just saying, like, where do you go, man? Where do you go? But anyway, I'm just curious because that's a small island. It's not like it's a massive island where you can go, oh, it's about to hit only the left side of the island. I'll go to the right side of the island for a little bit. You know what I mean? Prayer Kid said, oh, I'm Jamaican. You go inland or inland, meaning not too high in the hills and not down the slope. Why do I hear your accent? You go inland, meaning not too high in them hills. I'm sorry. And not down the slope. What is the slope? Like down the mountainside or something? Somebody answer that. I'm going to play this. I'm just curious. Prayer Kid, talk to me.
Obviously, a hurricane warning for Jamaica, still for the southwestern portion of Haiti, the eastern tip of Cuba. That is a hurricane watch. I think the Cuba one's going to get upgraded at some point here. Just a menacing storm here. Catastrophic flooding, rainfall rates on the order of 1 to 2 feet. Could even see higher than that. And you chalk that up to how slow the storm is moving. It's just crawling. That has been the reason it's been able to intensify so quickly here because of how warm the Caribbean water is here. So that's going to cause flooding and landslides. You'll obviously have the flooding from a life-threatening storm surge. And you're also going to be talking about, again, all of that wind that's probably going to knock out power. I'm talking about it in order of months now as opposed to weeks. But just look at these numbers. They look made up. They look fake, right? 15 to 30 inches from Jamaica all the way, again, to the tip of Haiti and portions of Cuba. This is going to be a bad situation, Andrew. And by the way, as that storm heads on out to sea, it could actually help to amplify a coastal nor'easter along the East Coast as we approach Halloween. We'll talk more about that. But again, all eyes are on Melissa right now. We're going to first send it out to Jamaica on the ground, or Ike Ajachi. Ike, I know conditions are going to get much worse.
Here's the thing. This is from about an hour ago, but I have to say, why is he there? Like, I'm being real. I'd be gone if I were in his shoes. This reporter that is boots on the ground in Kingston, Jamaica right now. I'd be gone. I would not be there. I'd be like, let me report this from inside the studio. Okay, I will Zoom call you for this. This is crazy. That's some ballsy stuff, man. I'm gonna report that. Nah, man, I'm good. I'm gone. That's just me, though.
Tomorrow into Tuesday, but what are you seeing right now?
Yeah, Jeff, right now, Jamaica is in lockdown as Hurricane Maria closes in. Both Norman Manley International Airport here in Kingston and Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay, Jamaica's two main airports, have officially closed down, stranding tourists and halting all flights across the island. Now, officials, they're urging residents to take this threat seriously. Across the country, people spent the weekend packing grocery stores, gathering water, non-perishable foods, and emergency supplies. Crews, they've been working rapidly to clear storm drains and secure buildings, while families have begun to shelter in place or move to one of the hundreds of emergency shelters now open across Jamaica.
Now, what I'm seeing here is not super crazy. Let me explain, because I've seen plenty of people in our own country sit there and go, we ain't going nowhere. I've seen people crazy enough to be dancing in the doggone streets when the hurricane is actually going down. Okay? We've seen that. We saw that, was it last year with another hurricane, right? We saw plenty of that. So, not surprised that, people are sticking around. And we're going to see some interviews here about people sitting there saying like, hey, I'm staying. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just going to brave through the storm. That, like I said, it's ballsy. It's definitely you're playing roulette. Real talk.
Now, authorities warn this could become the strongest storm ever recorded for the island. The Prime Minister urges everyone to remain indoors, avoid risky behavior, and rely only on official updates, not rumors or social media. Now, Jamaica is expected to face destructive winds, severe flooding, and dangerous landslides.
Did he just throw shade at social media, dog? Damn.
Over the next 48 hours as Hurricane Melissa makes its way onto the land. Essentially, the main message right now is to stay safe and get to higher ground. Andrew?
A menacing storm. Ike and Jeff, thank you. Number 2 in our top 5 stories.
Okay, and I think
breaking the case. 2 people arrested in that.
Yeah, they're talking about something. The Louvre. Yes, oui, les enfants. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit, about the Louvre. Because that's also pretty crazy. Let me get these super chats here really quick. Because I do want to. Whoa, that's loud as hell, baby. That's loud as hell, baby. Hold on. 1 second. I mean, of course, we all have our questions on what the hell's going on and what to expect. And we don't have all the answers yet. Because I mean, the hurricane hasn't hit landfall yet, but there are a lot of people that are being brave right now. I'll tell you that, being pretty damn brave to, to stick it out. It takes, I don't know, guys. It's pretty ballsy if you ask me. Let's take a look at this.
This morning, Jamaica bracing for the looming threat of Hurricane Melissa, which has already claimed 3 lives in Haiti and 1 in the Dominican Republic. Heavy rains and landslides sweeping the region, destroying homes, uprooting trees, and knocking out water supplies. All this as Jamaica stands squarely in the storm's path.
Hold on. You heard right off the bat, people have already lost their lives. I'm repeating that again because he came in hot with the death toll. Diggity damn. Hold on. We got to play that one more again. That's insane.
Jamaica bracing for the looming threat of Hurricane Melissa, which has already claimed 3 lives in Haiti and 1 in the Dominican Republic.
So 3 people have lost their lives in Haiti. 1 person's already lost their life in Dominican Republic already, y'all. And Hurricane Melissa has not even shown her muggly-ish face on any island yet. Imagine that.
Heavy rains and landslides sweeping the region, destroying homes, uprooting trees, and knocking out water supplies. All this as Jamaica stands squarely in the storm's path. People here bracing for the worst. Lines snaking out of stores with residents scrambling to grab essentials.
People are flocking to grocery stores to stock up on last-minute items, leaving shelves looking like this.
Lots of people really don't have the financial means to get all that they would need.
The storm also stranding tourists like Nicole Doyon, whose girls' trip with her friends from Miami has turned into a travel nightmare.
It's been a roller coaster of emotions, especially when like everybody's kind of panicking, trying to get on a flight, like every man for himself.
Meteorologists say Melissa could.
I got to ask you, where are her friends at, though? Like, where did her friends go? Did they all like leave her? Did they all leave her stranded there? They all got tickets and she just has to sit there and brave through it? I'm just saying. You'd think that all her friends would want to be on TV telling their story like, yeah, we're here going through this together. We're just going to have espresso martinis. You know what I mean? But no. I think, you know what I'm saying? Look at it. You'd think that would be all of them together. But that's not the case. It's scary, y'all. This is some scary stuff. I hope this is wrong. But if it goes the way it's going, the way that they're predicting, yo, Jamaica is about to get rocked.
Meteorologists say Melissa could become the strongest hurricane to impact the island in more than 35 years. In 1988, Hurricane Gilbert, a Category 4 storm, was widely considered the worst in the island's history. Now, with Melissa expected to make landfall in Jamaica Tuesday, experts warn its slow movement and track could have an even more devastating aftermath.
Now, as Melissa barrels closer and closer to Jamaica, officials and aid groups say now is the time to act. They say the message is clear. Protect your homes, secure your infrastructure, help your neighbors, and of course, get to safety if you can. Janae?
Get to safety if you can. That is the message. I thank you. Now let's bring in meteorologist Lee Goldberg from our New York station, WABC, for Hurricane Melissa's track and timing. Good morning to you, Lee.
Good morning, Janae, and we are deeply concerned for Jamaica because it's a potential worst-case scenario in terms of the track. We've doubled in intensity in 24 hours, gone from a tropical storm to now a Cat 4, 140-mile-per-hour winds. You can clearly see the eye. Thunderstorms around the center showing a sign of strengthening, and the problem is the slow movement. So it just crawls. They have tropical storm conditions now, and they have it for 2 days leading into landfall sometime Monday night and Tuesday morning, emerging and going to eastern Cuba after that, over the Bahamas, and then ultimately Wednesday and Thursday into the Atlantic. You look at the rainfall, and many of the strongest storms in Jamaica have moved through. This one's moving super slow. So you're talking about rainfall totals up to 40 inches. And consider this, New York City annual rainfall is 40 inches, a little over that, and they could do that in just a few days.
So again, Drew Carey has a good point here. I know it's not Drew Carey, but he kind of reminds me of Drew Carey. But he's got a good point here. I mean, it's about to get really bad, and not only just, and we already heard this on ABC as well, but from the other reporter as well. But we are going to be looking at worse things for a lot of other places as well. It's not only just going to be Jamaica. It's going to be Cuba. It's going to be Haiti. It's going to be Dominican Republic. 3 people have already lost their lives in Haiti already. Okay? Real talk. Like, we've already seen death in Haiti and in the Dominican Republic. All right? And people are getting prepared for, and you never know, given the fact that they have not had a hurricane hit that country, Jamaica, in so long. This might be it might be worse than 1988, than Hurricane Milton, I think it was, in 1988. So again, this is going to be bad. All right. Let me let Ozempic Drew Carey finish what he has to say.
Gio?
Yeah, very dangerous situation. All right, Lee, thank you so much.
Okay, and that's done. That's done too. Yeah, this is oh, it's Gilbert. Sorry, Gilbert, the cartoon. Yes, Gilbert Gottfried. Okay. Affleck, you know, that guy. Let me get these super chats here really quick. Okay. So PR, thank you so much for the love. By the way, Pascal is the name of the measuring unit of pressure used to report the central pressure of storms like hurricanes. That is a good point. Yes, unit of Pascals. You're right. The more you know. So yeah, PSIs, right? That is the unit of pressure, Pascal. Just so you know, Pascals. All right. Crazy, right? Moving on. Janobi, thank you so much for the love. My 83-year-old mom, Catherine, adores you. Wow, thank you. Tell your mom. Tell your mom hello. And I'm glad she's entertained. All right. She's watching. She knows how to use a phone. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But that's amazing. I appreciate your mom appreciating the show. That's dope. Watches every show and loves the voices. Thank you for making her laugh and smile. She wanted to say hello. Well, hello, Catherine. Hello. Hi. Thank you so much for watching the show. It really, all jokes aside, thank you so much for watching the show. Without you guys watching the show, I'd be I would literally be certifiably insane, because I'd be talking to a wall. I'd be talking to nobody. So, without Janobi, without you, Catherine, and all y'all who are watching, seriously, I'd be insane. Okay. So thank you so much for the love. PR, thank you so much for the love. Again, reporters should get some sort of hazard pay for these types of things, or for things like this. Yes, I agree 110%. 110%. Absolutely. Or hazard pay, or an extreme bonus, because you're willing to go to a place where, you know what I mean, hurricane's about to hit and there's no way you're going to get off that island. You know what I'm saying? See, like, that guy now should feel like he's Jennifer Love Hewitt in I Know What You Did Last Summer, or I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. The sequel. They're on the island. They can't get off the island, but they're there with the guy with the fisherman with the hook. You know what I'm saying? They're screwed. You feel me? He's screwed. He can't get off the damn island now. Okay? He for damn sure ain't going to get voted off the island. He's screwed. So, there better be more than just a hazard pay. It better be a bonus. Who wants to go out there? We'll give you $10,000. Oh, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? But is $10,000 even enough? Something to think about on another day. Something to think about for another day. Let's continue on, though. Let's continue on.
I'm in Kingston, Jamaica, staring at an absolutely incredible sunset. But we all know what's coming in the next couple of days. Every hazard when it comes to hurricanes is on the table, from storm surge, major hurricane with winds exceeding 150 miles per hour, and flooding. Not just any kind of flooding, though. Hurricane Harvey levels of flooding. I've spent the day going throughout the city, talking with people, lifelong residents, to see how they're trying to prepare for Hurricane Melissa.
Based on the projections that I'm seeing, I think it's going to be awful.
Jamaica's been writing about hurricanes since the 1500s, but this one, Melissa, could be the worst in modern history. Despite centuries of close calls, Jamaica's never taken a direct hit from a major hurricane. But in the Caribbean lately, that history doesn't matter. Last summer, Hurricane Beryl ripped across Carriacou, Grenada. It was the strongest storm that tiny island had ever seen. Melissa could bring that same fury, or worse. So I went to one of Jamaica's oldest and most vulnerable villages to see what it means to face that kind of fear head on.
What's the plan?
Not moving to right here.
I'm in the tiny village of Port Royal. It sits out in the bay on a tiny sliver of land near Kingston. Now, it is a very vulnerable location. It's very low-lying. Again, just a thin sliver of land. But the folks who live here, despite being under a mandatory evacuation, they're not leaving.
Right now, I'm wondering, like, even for him, he's reporting this. He's there, right? He's there. He's at this situation, okay? And they're getting prepared for something that's going to be worse than the likes of they've ever seen since 1988. All right, they're still sitting there going like, "I'm staying." What? Like, I'm sorry. I'm going to try everything I can to get the F out as quickly as I possibly can. Okay. What about y'all? Are you sticking around? Are you sitting there 10 toes down, holding fort? Or are you going to try to seek higher ground? Are you going to try to, I don't know, find a bunker or something? Like, what do you know what I mean? What do you do in a situation like this? Okay. Yeah. So some people are refusing to leave. They're like, nah, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving here. It reminds me of what happened during the LA fires. Remember the LA fires where people were literally standing on top of their houses, hosing their roofs down because they're like, I'm not going down without a fight. This fire is going to have to take me by my dead cold hand, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They said, F that. Not today, Satan. I'm going to stand right here. And Mother Nature's going to have to fight me to take my house. So now you got this going on, right? And people are sitting there going, nope, I'm staying right here. Me be staying right here. Like, what? No, I'm packing up. I'm out. I'm like, which one? High ground where? I'm gone. And if I knew this ahead of time, I probably would have booked some sort of flight out of town. Seriously, gone. I would have been gone. Scraped up every last penny I got to get a really cheap flight on Spirit Airlines and getting my boohooty out of that country as quickly as possible. Okay? With my loved ones. F that. I'll come back when the dust has settled.
I'm just here doing my ropes to go secure my boats.
Fishing here isn't just a job, it's a life, a tradition that survived for centuries. Deep water, small boats, a bond so strong they give these boats names. Ever done that with your work computer? The village sits at the end of a 10-mile-long, thin spit of sand. 2,000 people or so call it home, and few are ever willing to leave it. Their lives revolve around the sea. Their homes, their faith, their future, all tied to it. Darren's one of them. He's seen storms come and go his whole life.
Born and grow here.
So with Melissa, what are you guys thinking?
Well, as what we see, it's developing, but we're not really leaving. It's going more westward of us. So what we're really doing is just precaution that they take up the boats because of the storm surge and stuff. But we don't get much storm surge here. So we're inside a peninsula. The open sea is outside. We're inside a peninsula. We have 7 keys out there with a lot of reef. It's just like a barrier reef. You see, other people, they don't really know this.
People panic for you guys, but you guys are just struggling.
Yes. They're full mode panic. Our high tide is 18 inches. Most we get water is right where you see the coats. Yeah. That's where the water will be coming up from the just right there. That's it. Probably. That's right at your
ankle deep, huh?
It's not.
I'm hoping he's right. What he just said, he's like, yo, it's gonna stop right about here. It ain't moving nowhere. Okay, because of how these islands are set up, how everything is. Nah, we ain't gonna see anything that bad. It ain't gonna be that bad. The water's gonna stop right here. Just wait for it. I hope he's right. I really, really hope he's right. But this is whatever you're hearing everybody talking about it. They're like, oh, it's gonna be up to your ankles. You hear that? They continue. Let's play a little bit more.
No height. We're down to your foot level.
Wow. Ask the same question, get the same answer.
Crazy.
No one alive has seen a deadly storm surge here, or even water above the knees into the heart of the village.
So it's not like Port Royal has just remained unscathed throughout the decades from hurricanes. This was a foundation of buildings from 1951, and the hurricane that hit there clearly did not survive. But they've since obviously built other structures soon after, when the English were still in charge, like this building right there, and they've survived the subsequent storms since the 50s. But again, is Melissa going to be different? And that could be a problem, especially when it comes to hurricanes. People often base their decisions on what happened the last time. A decision that can obviously become tragic because the current storm, Melissa, could bring unprecedented conditions here to Jamaica.
Well, we don't have no flooding here, most likely. We just get high rise. High rise, the water rise.
The surge, yeah.
And the surge go but so far. And we're dealing with that over and over. So I don't take it that scary, you know? If like a tsunami or something, we would wash the whole goddamn place off. I'd probably get my ass out of here.
Well, I mean, that's what's in the worst case scenario storm surge will do. I mean,
right.
I've seen storm surge 17 feet in Fort Myers, Florida, where I saw houses being lifted away and carried away. You know, that's...
We're trying to get the older folks. The more like every hurricane time, we try to move them out. The bus come, we ensure the older folks and the mothers and kids aboard the bus and leave. We as fishermen, we stay and monitor the village and keep ensure that everything is all right. I'm sure when the weather gets real serious, we have to stay in. We can't do nothing more than stay in till after.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you know, I think it makes a lot of sense that you have the elderly, the sick, the not as able, the ones that are not as mobile, that to bust them out of the area, right? It's better to get them out of the situation than to have them there, because what if they get stuck, right? So again, I'm hoping that they're doing all of that. I mean, they have well, right now it's Sunday night, right? It's Sunday night. They still have tomorrow. Yes, there's going to be tropical storms. There's going to be flooding. There's going to be all kinds of stuff, that is happening before the hurricane actually gets there. That's if the hurricane actually stays in its trajectory. But I really don't think that this mother-loving hurricane is going to stop and just suddenly just bang a left. You see what I'm saying? And just hit Venezuela. I know that would make Trump very happy. Okay, but I don't think that this hurricane is just going to stop and go, well, you know what? I'm not hitting Jamaica. I feel like we're just going to keep going left. You see what I'm saying? So, yes, I'm glad that they're doing that, but some people I think are taking some very, very ballsy choices, like this super chat here. It's Happy Days. Thank you so much for the super chat. Don't play chicken with Mother Nature. She'll teach you a lesson you will never forget. That is for damn show. Okay, that is for damn show. So again, man, I hope, okay, that whoever is out there that's watching this show, that is, not watching this show, please be safe out there. Okay, literally, we got, if you got time, if you're able to seek higher ground, seek that higher ground right now, immediately.
Holy cow! Sometimes it takes seeing to believe. But disbelief isn't the only thing keeping people here. It's also the memories of what happened the last time they left. Promises of safety at the shelters inland that never felt safe.
A couple of storms ago, had some people went to the shelter and the storm was passed off, and for weeks people is there, can't get no transport to come home, nothing like that, and stuff like that. So it is just it deters all these people to go there.
You can already see the waves being generated by Hurricane Melissa crashing along the coast here in Kingston, and it also points to the vulnerability I mentioned with Port Royal. The same tiny sliver of land, well, this is where the international airport sits here in Kingston. You can see the control tower there. So just a few hundred yards away from where these waves are crashing, the planes land, and it just, again, highlights the vulnerability here to the infrastructure of how close it is from these waves to the airport. And the unpredictability, of course, of what exactly Melissa is going to bring here, but it has the potential, of course, to be catastrophic and bring conditions that have never been seen here on the entire island of Jamaica before. Another vulnerability is right there, the Doppler radar. If you remember, Hurricane Laura, Category 4, that was shredded in Lake Charles from Hurricane Laura. So another vulnerability sitting just a couple hundred yards from the ocean.
Panic will never help, but preparation, meaning understanding what could be coming, that helps. Remember, a few miles matters when it comes to hurricanes. If you're closer to the center, you're going to get stronger winds. But Melissa's threats go way beyond the wind.
So when we hear Category 4, Category 5, major hurricanes, people really do think about the wind. But Melissa is a little bit different. It's not just about the wind. All factors, all types of hazards with hurricanes are coming with Melissa. So we have those winds. They're going to likely be above 150 miles per hour. But then you have to take into account the fact of how slow it's moving, which is actually very rare for a hurricane in this part of the Caribbean to move this slowly. But what comes with that is rain. Intense, immense amounts of rain. Talking on the level of Hurricane Harvey. Jamaica is a mountainous country. And so when this water falls on these peaks, it's going to rush down. And when it comes here into Kingston, it will hit these rivers and streams. And you can see these are all made into concrete and stone. And that's good because it lets water rush into the ocean. It's what they've done in Los Angeles, for instance. But this is not built to handle 25, 30, 40 inches of rain. These systems are going to be overwhelmed. Any system would be overwhelmed.
Across Jamaica.
Okay, that scares the crap out of me. I don't know about y'all. T Money, if you could send me that info, T Money, let me know. If you can email me that info, that'd be great. About Chi-Town, let me know. Yeah, there's some things we need to talk about. There's a lot going on here, y'all, and it's beyond Jamaica. But we got to talk about my Caribbean people, okay? Because I care for you guys a lot, and we all need to take care of ourselves. And all jokes aside, I mean, this is some scary stuff, especially when you break this down, when you hear this kind of stuff going on, when you hear that there are, that the infrastructure that they have may not be enough to handle what's to come. That is scary. That potentially the water could be so high that their infrastructure that they already have, things that they already have laid out, may not be enough, may not be strong enough to handle the amount of potential water flooding that could be happening in the country, okay, in the island. That is some scary stuff, all right? But, like I said, it's scary. It's very, very scary. And the fact that, listen, some people like my miracle mama said it in the chat, and I got to be real. It's true. Okay. Myself, I was like, I just scrape every dollar I got, okay, to get a ticket out of town. Some people just can't afford that. Some people just can't afford that kind of ticket. Doesn't matter if it's Frontier or Spirit Airlines. Okay. They just can't afford it. And that's okay. But that's a reality, right? And so some people have no choice but to stay there and stick it out, which is terrifying, right? Absolutely terrifying. It's a terrifying thought. And so, I'm praying for everybody, because and here's the thing, I hope that they do exactly what they do all the time, which is they hype it up. They say, oh God, get ready. This is going to be the worst you've ever seen before. And then it just rains. You know what I'm saying? A few gusty winds, nothing bad. Everyone's alive to tell the story, but nothing bad. That's what I'm hoping for. And I don't know, in certain neck of your woods, I'm sure you have those stories of like, oh no, get ready for the snow apocalypse. And so you go to your local grocery store and all eggs, milk, and bread are gone. You know what I'm saying? Suddenly everybody needs bread, eggs, and milk. It's the one thing that everybody need. Okay? For some weird reason, those are the things to go first. Eggs, bread, and milk. And they're like, get ready for the snow apocalypse. And then it doesn't even snow. We've all seen that. Happens all the time. So I'm hoping that maybe they go, oh, damn, get ready for the worst hurricane in history. And then nothing happens. Nothing. Just a hot mist. And that's it. I'm praying for that. And everyone prepared for nothing. I'd rather that than everyone preparing or sticking through something that is the worst in history. That's what I'm hoping. I really hope that they're wrong. I hope that they're wrong, so that we all survive. But then it's like, you instantly think, well, what's going to happen afterwards? I instantly think about that too. Are other countries going to swoop in to help Jamaica get back on their feet if it was to be as catastrophic as they're promoting it and, marketing it as, right? As how they're putting it out here in the news? Is it really going to be that bad? And who's going to come in and help the Jamaican people get back up on their feet? That's the thing I want to know too, right? That, yeah. I mean, hey, if it's really bad, it's really bad. I'm preparing for the worst, but I'm praying for the best, right? But I keep wondering, now is the time where people, when about something like this, it's looming, it's about to hit, the powers that be, the higher ups, the people that make these countries and this world go round, need to start figuring out how they're going to help the country when the country is down. Just saying. And also, let's not forget this too. If they are correct, and the trajectory of this Hurricane Melissa is coming through, and not only is she, crashing Jamaica's party, but she's also crashing other islands' parties as well. I hope to God there's a plan set forth to help these countries get back on their feet, because this is not the time for this.
Jamaica, people are doing what they can. They're nailing boards, buying food, water, but now comes the hard part, the waiting. Waiting to see if the forecasts are right, waiting to see what Melissa really has in store. That wait will stretch into midweek, a slow, torturous silence before the wind starts to speak.
Anywhere you look in this beautiful sunset, you know that lives are going to be different this time next week.
I mean, I feel like, I hope he's wrong. You know what I'm saying? I hope all the forecasts are wrong. But, you know, it's been a while since we've seen forecasts or predictions of hurricanes not be to the level that they say they're going to be, right? It's been a while. So I'm hoping this is not one of those. I really hope it's one of those situations where they are wrong, but we'll see what happens here. Let me show you guys this. This is what's going on. This is just a live feed of what's going on. Kingston Harbor. And then meanwhile, let me grab some more stuff. But yeah, like I said, this is just absolutely crazy. We are living in some wild times. And then the other thing, I'm just gonna put this in here now. The other thing, I told you guys, I talked to you guys about this a while back, about like a week or so ago. I said, hey, I'm gonna see if I can put together like a little GoFundMe, because there's something I want to do, you know, like this live rig type of thing where I can do live updates, boots on the ground out in certain areas. If there's protests going on, if there's, you know, if anything's going on, I could just go live with y'all, right? Interview people on the street, do that kind of thing, but I'm live with y'all. Kind of like what I did with the protest, with the No Kings protest, right? I asked you guys what you thought, if doing some sort of GoFundMe would be a good idea. And a lot of you guys, well, all of you guys basically gave me the thumbs up to do that. So I put the link. It's in the description box down below, but it's also pinned to the top of the chat right now. If you want to contribute, that would be greatly appreciated. Like I said, the GoFundMe is pinned to the top of the chat. You know, it's a simple little rig, but it also allows me to, like I said, broadcast anywhere, anytime. I don't need internet. I don't need satellites or anything crazy like that to be able to go live. And I think it would be really, really great. The stuff that we've been seeing, like the likes of some big time streamers that do this all the time, to the people that are streaming and broadcasting the every protest that you see out here. Okay. They are out there doing that as well. Hold on. Is it not working? Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me fix that then. Hold on. Let me fix it. I just removed it. Hold on. I thought it did work. Oh. Let me try that again. Hold on. Let's see that. Okay. Let me try that again. Sorry about that, guys. Wrong Thizang. Let's try that again. Lamo. Hopefully that should work. Yep, there we go. So I'm doing that again. Of course, I got to fix this in here too. There we go. So now I got the link. It's fixed. Okay. But I mentioned to you guys an opportunity to do more on the street, type things, interview people, ask people what's going on in the world, or covering things that are going on live instead of, you know what I mean? Instead of just shooting off of my phone. Because sometimes the reception is I get lucky and I get really good reception, or the reception is absolute trash. So this rig would allow me to shoot on one of my really good cameras, one of my good cameras here. And then of course, be able to do a whole lot more, So again, that is just what I want to bring to the show, bring to the table. Okay. So I asked you guys what you thought, and you guys were saying like, yeah, like you were like, hey, yeah, that would be amazing. Here it is. So it's linked to the top. It's, pinned to the top of the chat. There's a link. Check it out. A little bit goes a long way. If you want to, if you don't, it's all good. No pressure. But again, like I said, it'll be an opportunity to get more things that are going on outside of this room, right? And do more things right there, boots on the ground, coverage right there in your face, interviews, coverage, etc. So I could really use the help. So if you can, go to the GoFundMe. That'd be awesome. But let me continue on. Let us continue on here. Let's take a look at this.
Let's zero in on Jamaica a little more. You're looking at the preparations that have gone into making sure that folks have what they need ahead of and certainly after the storm, as the relief is expected to pour in. Melissa is going to continue to slowly drift westward as we go through the day today, certainly over the next 24, 36 hours in that time frame. Here's a look at radar from Jamaica, and boy, you can see Melissa just to the south, about 115 miles south-southwest of Kingston. And those rain bands have started to work their way up across the island. Tropical storm force wind gusts at times. Here's the latest rain forecast. Still to come, upwards of 2 to 3 feet expected at the highest mountain peaks. And then, unfortunately, all that water is going to come down. So the risk of potentially catastrophic landslides and mudslides is very high here. And it's something that we have to watch for. Also, too, just a quick note, let me get back to that. Something that we have noted, and there's going to be some fluctuations here, so we'll see how this comes. Really, the angle of approach is really important. But we've seen these numbers go up on the west side of the island. So that's also something to note as we perhaps see, more of a shift in our impacts. But overall, when we take a look at that forecast track, expecting Melissa to continue to intensify overnight tonight. We see that pull to the northeast and then eventual that landfall through Tuesday. Here's a look at the wind chances. And like I mentioned, just ever so slightly a shift to the west. When you look at the opportunity and the chances, particularly in Kingston, eastern Jamaica, for those hurricane force winds, it has improved. And I'm careful when I say that because, again, this could shift and change. We still have time to watch how this comes together. Little wobbles here or there, and it's a total different story. But you can see here Hurricane Melissa, those hurricane force wind gusts for now extend about 30 miles from the center, expected to grow. And as it begins its approach, the dirty side of the storm, still a very bad scenario on the southeast coast. Kingston, where we have a storm surge upwards of a foot, and expecting to see this storm continue to intensify on approach to the island before eventually lifting up towards Cuba and into the Atlantic by midweek.
Yikes. Yikes. Yeah, this hurricane is not playing. And you saw that left turn, like that right turn. You saw that curve that happened there. Crazy. And yeah, I mean, people are getting food, they're, getting things together, but I still am wondering, what will that entail? What does that mean here for everyone, right? It's bad, y'all. It's about to get, it's about to get gnarly out here, y'all.
Ton's Aaron Mabin, he is the only local reporter in Jamaica covering the hurricane.
Aaron, what are the conditions right now and how are people preparing?
And I think it's important for us to kind of Yeah, I think it's important for us to start to set the scene because it is a very quiet night out here. We had rain earlier. Those are the outer bands of Melissa as she gets closer to the island. And you can hear it. You may be able to see it with my shirt. The winds have gotten gustier throughout the day. Now, this afternoon, top officials got together at a command center. And we talked to the Deputy Prime Minister about how he's bracing for this big storm.
Government has mobilized all its resources that are designed for emergency operation.
Jamaica's Deputy Prime Minister Horace Chang talking with me before entering an emergency operations center in Montego Bay. It's where local leaders will make key decisions before, during, and after the storm hits.
We are here to coordinate, take reports, and dispatch as is required.
Do you think this island is ready for this hurricane?
If the projections are correct, nobody can be ready for this kind of activity.
Crews are cutting trees before the hurricane's most dangerous winds move in Monday night and Tuesday morning. Fishing communities have pulled boats onto land. In Kingston, workers are stacking sandbags, preparing for record rain. Jamaican leaders are most concerned for low-lying, flood-prone areas. The water in this gully is really low right now, but leaders fear during Melissa it will rapidly rise, leading to flooding in portions of Montego Bay.
At this moment, we are free of flood.
Simon Watson is part of a team clearing drains and trouble spots.
5 days of rain, it's not good.
The storm has caused deadly floods and landslides in Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Jamaican leaders are pleading with people to heed the warnings now. Your greatest concern right now, what is that?
First is protection of life. And there are individuals on the coastline who are at risk.
Look, I thought that was really something when I asked him, is this island ready? And there was that pause, there was that moment, and then there was that truth. This is a Category 4 hurricane that has the potential of turning into a Cat 5. This is something very, very serious. We have to talk about power outages because they got hit really hard last year by Beryl in 2024, and power was out for a number of weeks. So they're trying to get ahead of that, sending about 55 generators after the storm. When those generators are sent out, hospitals are going to be the number one priority. It's got to get the hospitals back online. That's going to be their number one priority. Shelters, we got to talk about that as well. They're all over this country. They're all open right now, and they still have a couple hundred people in those shelters across the country. Bridget, Sanella?
And Aaron, we know that the airports are all shut down at the moment. So how are the tourists visiting planning on riding out this storm? Are all those hotels open?
You know, the hotels in our area, Montego Bay, they are staying open right now. We are on the northwest portion of this island, so we are going to see the effects a little bit later than people on the south, like Kingston. Things could be a little bit dicey for people on resorts and hotels there, but here things are open. But there was a mad dash, you guys, yesterday and especially this morning. People trying to book flights, calling loved ones, calling travel agents, trying to get off this island before this powerful storm comes barreling in.
This is pretty crazy because, for a fact that they already know that Ish is about to hit the fan. And are they fully prepared for it? You heard the man himself basically say, no. If they're saying that we're going to be seeing things of the likes we've never seen before, then no, we're not ready. And that even this reporter here was like, you saw him pause. You saw him take a breath before he actually answered that, because I'm sure he was like, do I take the high road or do I take an optimistic route and just basically straight up lie to the people that are listening and watching this interview, to the news, or do I say the truth? And I feel like that was his hesitation. Do I tell the truth or do I just lie to keep people hopeful? And he said, no, I'm telling the truth. F it. If it's the likes that they say that we've never seen before, we're not ready. And I don't think that they have enough. Obviously, this video, this one right here, was just done this was just posted 48 minutes ago. Okay, literally an hour ago now, because we just watched the whole video. So about an hour ago. So they just had that interview. So of course, yeah, they're not ready. They're not ready, and it's about to start. It's going to get bad out here. It's going to get really, really bad if it's true what they're saying. So this is going to be this is going to be a wild couple days. Tomorrow's going to be insane. So we'll see what happens. But real quick before I forget, first off, Jennifer, thank you so much for donating. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so very much. Like I said, it really does mean the world to me that anybody is donating at all. So thank you so very much. Okay. It'll definitely open up a new avenue of things that I've been wanting to do out here, and it gets me out from behind this desk and behind, in this purple room, out to different places, and giving you guys different coverage, some variety, which I'm really looking forward to. So thank you so much for the support. And anybody else, just future reference. Thank you so much for all y'all. Okay. 48 more minutes past that the government and their military could have been evacuating their citizens. Yeah, I mean, you ain't wrong, but in a way, it's like evacuating them where? Sure, to higher ground. That's one thing for sure. But off the island, not so much. But, like I said, hopefully they're doing exactly that. Even while he was doing that interview, I'm sure they're doing everything they can. Like I said, they had men out there, men and women going out there trying to, basically unclog drains and do whatever they can so that when the floods and the rains do come in, it won't be as intense, right? I mean, that's all you can basically hope for, pray for the best, pray for the best, prepare for the worst, right? But let's
Big
see.
story tonight. We're talking about that big bullseye out in the Atlantic or the Caribbean right now. Hurricane Melissa, now a Category 4 storm, very strong.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the strongest hurricanes in Jamaica's history, right? And back in 1988, they had Gilbert come through as a Category 3, still a major hurricane, but this is likely going to be a Category 5 or even a 4 right before it makes landfall. Regardless of the category classification, these are the impacts that we can feel all across the Caribbean. The threat of flooding is going to be high, with another 18 to 24 inches of rain in store for Jamaica and also Cuba. Now with strong Category 4 and Category 5 force winds, it's very likely that we'll have widespread power outages across the Caribbean as well. In those mountainous areas, mudslides and landslides are going to be common due to the rain received from Melissa, and we can't forget about the storm surge. That's the height that the water rises above its seasonal average time. So new today, we do have hurricane warnings in place not only for Jamaica, but also southwestern Cuba, as it's going to have a second landfall across the southeastern quadrants of the island of Cuba there, likely as we head into the middle of your upcoming work week. But right now, Melissa is still moving slowly at 5 miles per hour, just about 100 miles south of Kingston is where you find that center of circulation, that well-defined eye, indicating that this is undergoing rapid intensification. As I mentioned just a second ago, this is going to be the strongest hurricane for Jamaica since Gilbert back in 1988, and the threat of possible mudslides and landslides are all going to be on table. Likely making landfall overnight heading into Tuesday morning as a Category 4 or a Category 5. We'll see that second landfall in Cuba before this storm does affect Turks and Caicos, the southeastern Bahamian Islands as well. So widespread impacts all across the Caribbean is what's in store. I do believe that the rainfall and catastrophic flooding is going to be the greatest concern, but our next cold front here in the United States is actually to keep this storm away from southern Florida, but we will still see some impacts in regards to wave heights next week. Taking a look at the forecast wind gusts, tropical storm force winds will be felt overnight in Jamaica, but these winds are going to elevate quickly as that eye gets closer to landfall. Notice that inside that center of circulation, wind speeds are going to be above 100 miles per hour, and we'll see those 100 mile per hour winds across Jamaica as we head into Tuesday coming up. Rainfall, as we mentioned, 18 to 24 plus inches. We could have isolated returns closer to 3 feet of rain, perhaps, as this is a very slow mover and will take more time or The slow movement will allow more time for the rain showers to pile up, almost like what we're seeing in central Florida today. Taking you out to Sanford, where we have the ongoing showers. Flood watches have been issued for our inlandmost communities, where temperatures are now back in the mid-70s. Here's a look at our live Doppler radar, in which we've unleashed bucket loads of rain across I-95 as well, so much that we have
Yeah, I'm wondering what is going to happen for
multiple flood
for the East Coast, because obviously they're going to hit Jamaica, and then what's next, right? What's next for after Jamaica, right? So again, this is going to be kind of gnarly, and of course, you know, they're talking about other forecasts here, but again, it's no bueno. Let's take a look at this here. Hold on.
We have an urgent update on hurricane.
This is from Max Velocity. This is from an hour ago. So let's take a look at this. I don't know this guy, but I just want to hear what he has to say as well, real quick.
Melissa, which is about to become a Category 5 hurricane just to the south of Jamaica and has shifted substantially over the last 24 hours, which could change where the worst of the impacts are felt in areas like Jamaica, Cuba, and Haiti. Additionally, this is beginning to intensify once again and will likely be a Category 5 hurricane by late tonight or early tomorrow morning. So in today's forecast, we're going to break down exactly what you need to know about Hurricane Melissa and what has changed over the last 12 to 24 hours. We will begin with what's happening right now with Hurricane Melissa, and this thing looks incredibly intense right now just to the south of Jamaica. The eye has become very symmetrical. This is a very frightening sight, to say the least. We don't usually see hurricanes this organized, and especially in a very short amount of time. If you remember,
okay, really quick. Well, first off, I sped up. I cranked up the speed so we can get, you know, kind of get as much information as we can in a very little bit of time. Okay, but this is nuts. Okay, like the fact that he's like, look how symmetrical the center, the eye of the storm is. It literally looks like an iris. You see what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. This is scary, y'all. F it. I'm saying the quiet part out loud. This is scary. All right. I really hope that it's like, oh, get ready, and then nothing happens. Like it just vaporizes. You know what I mean? But it doesn't look like that. It looks like an angry eye.
Remember, only about 24 to 36 hours ago, this was a tropical storm. This is now borderline Category 5. In fact, the National Hurricane Center just mentioned that Melissa is intensifying once again. It is currently at maximum sustained winds of 145 miles per hour with wind gusts of over 170 miles per hour near the eye of the hurricane. Now, we are seeing a lot of the outer bands already reaching eastern Jamaica, dumping rainfall. And unfortunately, for the next 24 hours, Jamaica is basically going to be stationary to the south of Jamaica, which means a lot of the worst impacts are going to be felt from central and eastern Jamaica back into western Haiti, where we are anticipating 30 to 40 inches of rainfall in some areas. And then as we go into late tomorrow and early Tuesday, that's when we're anticipating landfall somewhere in Jamaica. And then as we go into late Tuesday and Wednesday, this will make another landfall in Cuba and then perhaps another landfall in the Bahamas. Now, Hurricane Melissa has had a notable shift over the last 12 hours in terms of where the eye of Melissa is going to make landfall. And in my opinion, this is actually worse than before. So let's talk about it. Right now, it is a Category 4 hurricane, maximum sustained winds of 145 miles per hour. Wind gusts are near 170 miles per hour. It's moving west very slowly. As we go into tomorrow afternoon, so right around 4 o'clock, this will be a Category 5 hurricane. This could happen earlier than that. I do want to point that out. We could see this as a Category 5 hurricane by as early as tonight. But no matter what happens, we are expecting this to become our third Category 5 hurricane of the Atlantic hurricane season. And then by the time we go into early Tuesday morning, the National Hurricane Center has noted that this is expected to slow down quite a bit. Notice this is 1 a.m. Tuesday morning, and this is still to the south of Jamaica. So the problem is, and the big change here, is that Melissa is going further west and is also going to be more intense as it's going to sit over water for a longer period of time. And we could see Melissa make landfall as a Category 5 hurricane in Jamaica on Tuesday as a Category 5 hurricane. And keep in mind, we've never had a Category 5 hurricane make landfall in Jamaica in history. So this could be really, really bad. And on top of that, it is just such a slow-moving hurricane that it also could make landfall somewhere over here in western Jamaica, which means the worst part of the hurricane could impact even more of the country than initially thought. Initially, we thought it might make landfall closer to Kingston, which would leave the worst of the impacts mainly to eastern Jamaica. But that could actually be a larger area now where it impacts areas even as far west as Montego Bay and as well as Manville. And those areas could even see more significant rainfall than initially forecasted and also higher winds. And then as we go into late Tuesday and early Wednesday, it's expected to make a second landfall as a Category 3 hurricane in eastern Cuba. And then on late Wednesday and early Thursday, we anticipate this to be a Category 2 hurricane over the Bahamas. And then beyond that, it will race off to sea. Now let's talk more about the timing and the impacts that Hurricane Melissa is going to bring, beginning with our future radar. One of the big changes over the last 24 hours is that a lot of the hurricane models are now showing showing a much more intense hurricane to the south of Jamaica by Monday morning. Notice the pressure could be down as low as 930 millibars by Monday morning, which would be in Category 5 range. Eventually, by Monday afternoon, this model shows it going all the way down to 919 millibars. If this were to happen, we could see maximum sustained winds, at least for a brief period of time, around 165 to 170 mile per hour winds, which would be pretty close to the strongest hurricane of the season so far in the Atlantic Ocean. By Tuesday morning is when this hurricane model finally has it moving to the north. In the meantime, we're going to have all sorts of these outer bands dumping rainfall across central and eastern Jamaica, and some of the mountainous regions are going to see major landslide potential as we go into late Monday, Tuesday, and even early Wednesday as this rainfall just continues to dump. Notice how
again, we've already heard, and I have definitely revved this up because I didn't want to be on this for like 7 hours, and I'm not sitting here. No disrespect to this content creator, because very informative. By the way, check out Max Velocity. Real talk. Go check this guy out. He seems to really know his stuff. But honestly, the fact that no matter what, even if it stays at Category 4 or if it goes to Category 5, it doesn't matter. It's bad. Okay. No matter what, this whole thing is bad, y'all. It's no bueno. Okay. So, sheesh. Yeah, this is not looking good right now, guys. It's not looking good. Doesn't matter if it stays at a Category 4 or if it goes to a Category 5. There's still going to be some seriously bad things, especially if it's heading towards Jamaica and if it keeps going in the trajectory that they're saying. If it keeps going on this path that it's going, it's going to be bad on all kinds of fronts. We've already lost 3 people in Haiti. We've already lost somebody in the Dominican already. Okay, that people are preparing in Jamaica, but it could be really bad here very, very soon for Jamaica as well. I mean, obviously they're seeing some things in Jamaica right now, but they haven't gotten hit with the hurricane yet. So this is about to get pretty freaking gnarly. Okay, do me a favor though, guys. If you guys can, please do me a favor. Don't forget to hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Crush the like. Crush the like, crush the like, crush the like, crush the like. Don't forget, of course, and I'd love to see it get to like 1K. That'd be amazing in the likes. So let's get to 1K in likes, please, and thank you. But also, let's not forget to hit that subscribe button as well. Okay, I cover everything on this channel, everything from true crime to pop culture to politics and every mucky thing in between. Okay, all the mucky in between. Okay. If it's things that people are talking about, we're talking about it here and then some. So make sure you're subscribed. Hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Of course, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know whenever I go live or whenever I upload, okay? But this is just, this is scary. And of course, we're going to be keeping a very close eye on what's going on with this hurricane over the next couple days. I mean, obviously, they say that it could rev up overnight. It could rev up to a Category 5 tonight before it even hits landfall, or it might rev up to a Category 5 right when it does hit landfall. You know what I mean? So anything is possible here. Let's continue.
The most intense winds will still be offshore until approximately Tuesday morning. This is when we're expecting significant and extensive damage to things like infrastructure, homes, and buildings are going to start to really see that damage pick up by Tuesday morning. And then right around lunchtime is when the new thinking is for landfall. So initially we thought landfall might be Monday night. It's leaning more towards the very early afternoon of Tuesday as an intense Category 4, if not a Category 5 hurricane moving into central Jamaica. This is an extremely concerning trend that we are seeing with Melissa, because now, instead of it making landfall in eastern Jamaica and really bringing most of the impacts east and around the mountainous regions, instead, this could be spread out across the entire country, which basically means we could see catastrophic impacts in a larger portion here of Jamaica. Highest winds will likely be in western and central Jamaica as we go into Tuesday afternoon. Wind gusts as high as 130 to 150 miles per hour is on the table. And then by late Tuesday and early Wednesday, it will weaken as it passes through Jamaica, but it will still be an intense Category 3 hurricane as it goes through Cuba during the morning hours on Wednesday. Jamaica will be done with the worst of the impacts by Wednesday morning as this continues to lift to the north. And then late Wednesday and early Thursday, the Bahamas will be impacted by a Category 2 to 3 hurricane. And then this will be moving off to the northeast in the direction of Bermuda by Thursday. Also, this model...
And that's if it stays in that trajectory, okay? That's if it stays in that trajectory. But we'll see. You never know. Even the path that it's on right now, it may continue going left. You never know. I know it's doing kind of a turn towards Jamaica, but it might turn again. You never know. Okay? You never know. Okay? We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. I am Haitian, y'all. Okay? My family's from Haiti. I'm proud of it. So doesn't matter. I'd still be covering this if this was a hurricane was hitting Switzerland. Okay, real talk. I'd still be covering this no matter what. Yes, this does hit close to home because I do have family from Jamaica, and family that are in Jamaica as well. Okay, I wouldn't say that they're blood family, but they are family. Okay, so yes, this is a concern of mine, but it still is a concern of mine if it was, like I said, if this hurricane was hitting, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a place I don't know. Alaska. You know what I'm saying? Still be covering it. Okay? Sac passe. But still, this should matter for all of us. Because here's the thing. It's going to hit Jamaica. It's already affecting Haiti and some of Dominican Republic. Okay? It's going to hit Cuba as well. Then it's going to start going, if it keeps going the way it says it's going, it's just going to go off into Bermuda. Still all these lives that are at risk right now. It could potentially go towards the East Coast. It could. It randomly, like if you saw the footage, it randomly went up and started doing a turn towards Jamaica. It started turning randomly. It was going one way and it just says, we're just going to take a little bit of a right turn, right? So I'm concerned because it could go through Jamaica, ravage through Cuba, and then just decide to take a left turn towards America, hitting Florida and God knows what other eastern states there are, or going and hitting, the southern states, right? Florida and Louisiana and all that. So again, this is a very big concern for all of us because this hurricane ain't no joke. And it may let up, but it may not let up. And that's the thing. That's the thing right now. And we don't have time for any of this. None of us do. None of us do in this country and throughout the world. We don't have time for this BS right now. We really don't. But unfortunately, Mother Nature's mad. What's she mad about? I don't know. But let me let this guy finish his talk.
Right here gives you an idea of the wind field that Melissa is going to bring to Jamaica on Tuesday. So Monday right now doesn't look that bad. Right now, this is basically what we're looking at on Monday. Wind gusts will probably be up to 30 to 45 miles per hour. So tropical storm realm for most of Monday. By late Monday night is when things are really going to start to ramp up with Melissa, because notice how the winds are going to be upwards of 100 to 120 knots just off the coast of Jamaica by Tuesday morning. And a lot of those winds are going to be making it inland by this point. Another thing I want to point out is that the storm surge is going to be significant in eastern and central Jamaica, where 10 to 15 feet of storm surge is a possibility along the coastline. So if you're in a coastal region, you want to be evacuating inland immediately. As we go into Tuesday afternoon, the worst of the winds will be felt across Jamaica. And notice how the wind field is still fairly large. Basically, all of Jamaica will have at least tropical storm force winds, but I think all of the country will have hurricane force winds by this point. Sometime around Tuesday afternoon, winds will range anywhere from 65, 70 miles per hour, all the way up closer to 140 miles per hour. And then late Tuesday and early Wednesday, this is going to become a larger hurricane as it moves towards Cuba, and that wind field will actually be larger. That means more parts of eastern Cuba, will be impacted by Melissa. And then as we go into Wednesday afternoon, the wind field will continue to grow as this moves up in latitude, and we are expecting some significant impacts to parts of the Bahamas during the afternoon hours on Wednesday. And then by Thursday, this will continue to move towards Bermuda. And we do have some good and bad news regarding the catastrophic rainfall event that's going to occur with Hurricane Melissa. The good news is that the most significant amount of rainfall that we were expecting for areas like Haiti and the Dominican Republic has decreased a little bit. It is still life-threatening, but it's not nearly as bad, and that is because Melissa is tracking a little further to the west. On the other hand, it's a lot worse for Jamaica. Notice how we have a lot larger of an area now of 20 to 30 inches of rainfall anticipated all across central and eastern Jamaica, including Kingston, and even back over near Kingston, there could be some areas over or around 40 inches of rainfall. I do think some of the mountainous peaks that we have in Jamaica could actually reach over 50 inches of rain out of this event, which would cause life-threatening and catastrophic landslides. So again, if you are in Jamaica, take this seriously. If you have not already, make sure that you're prepared for this. If you have any friends or family in Jamaica right now, make sure that they're doing okay and they are ready for this, because once this hurricane kicks into gear, electricity is going to go out pretty much across the entire country, and the infrastructure across the board is going to be so minimal that many people won't even be able to make calls to friends and family at that point. So please.
He's got a very good point right there too. Infrastructure is going to be minimal at best, okay, and it's going to get rocked for sure, to the point where it's going to be very hard to get in contact with anybody, phone conversations, etc. You name it, it's going to be a pain in the butt. Let me just be real. Real quick, T-Money said something about Chicago. I just wanted to send a quick reminder. Please send me that info if there is any info to be had right now. send it my way. That'd be greatly appreciated. Okay. But we're going to continue on. Okay. Because again, this is all very bad. And I'm hoping all we could do is talk about it and get people prepared, right? All we could do is bring it up, let people know that this is going down, and get prepared, because this could potentially be one of the worst, right? Or it could shut down, it could slow down, and it could be not as bad as we're thinking. But let's see. We're going to have to wait and see, of course. 1 second, guys. Let me show you guys
I
this.
want to bring in Mike Boylan with Mike's weather page, who has been keeping a very close eye on this storm. Always great to have you on live now from Fox, Mike.
Yes, thanks for having me. And yeah, we're looking at it. I don't think, we don't see this very often, and especially that area, Cat 5, possibly landing hurricane. It's just, all the adjectives that you hear in the news, unfortunately, they're true. It's going to be catastrophic, devastating, biblical. Hopefully not, but it looks like it's going to be one, that we're going to have to be dealing with for a long time after.
And one of the unique factors of this particular storm, which is why we're talking about, potentially catastrophic, is that it's moving very slowly. When it comes to, a lot of times we hear about the wind, but the wind is only part of a hurricane. We're also talking about the amount of rainfall. Can you talk about how that and the slow moving nature of the storm really could create some terrible conditions?
Yeah, all we really have to go on is history. We all remember Harvey in Texas dumping, 40 plus inches of rain. That's still in the forecast for Melissa. And you magnify the mountains, what we saw with Helene and the Carolinas. It makes things so much worse, because it just creates this flash flooding, mudslides, landslides. So, you look at history and in the past what it's done to places like Haiti and Dominican Republic, and I don't recall seeing this much rain, because, like you mentioned, it's such a slow-moving system. Looking back at history, they had Beryl, kind of skirted last year, and it wasn't a direct hit. And I'm a little worried. A lot of comparisons are being brought up to past storms, and they haven't had anything like this. And the angle of this too, I just did a post. All the past storms that went through Jamaica or near Jamaica have been that classic east to west. This is actually coming up straight from the south. So the surge impacts could be something they've never seen, because now you got a storm that's hitting it head on. And you got to remember that right side is the worst side of that surge. And there's a lot of population to the east of where this is going to make landfall. And then another unique situation is when it plops on the other side of the island. Now the winds are rotating in from a different, side. Normally it's the right side of a hurricane you worry about on approach, but it's very, unique to have to worry about it now on the top side of the island. So now the winds are going to be counterclockwise coming in now, on the other side of the island. So, north-south are going to be getting impacts on top of, like you mentioned, the rain.
And Mike, the fact that this is an island also, I imagine, would create some unique challenges, especially with low-lying areas when we're talking about just incredible amounts of rainfall potentially.
Oh, yes. I just don't think anyone really is prepared to know what's going to happen. I'm looking at the latest 2 p.m. and they're still showing 40 inches, possible in the eastern parts. That's just incredible. And, we look back at past Cat 5 hurricanes in our, United States here with Michael, and what we saw, inland effects and power outages. You can only imagine what they're going to be going through with these winds. Wind gusts of up to 195. It's going to be 160, weakening to a 155. The NHC stresses that's a 4 or 5 doesn't matter when you're talking 5 miles an hour. But being that they haven't really got hit in many years too, the trees and we always say Mother Nature has a way of pruning itself. Like, so when you have a storm and then the next year all the vegetation from the prior year has already been down. Well, this area really hasn't been hit very hard in several years, so you're gonna have a lot of older trees. You're just gonna have a lot of impacts that I'm afraid are going to be weeks and weeks of cleanup and recovery.
As we take a look at the path and the timeline of that, can you walk our viewers to when it is currently anticipated to make landfall?
Well, yes, it's made a couple wobbles. So if there's any good news at all, it's a tight chord system, meaning that the eye wall is small at this moment, and the winds only go out 25 miles, hurricane force winds. So, if there is good news, hopefully that will, remain, and the serious winds will be wherever this, system decides to make that landfall. And it is a little bit farther to the south again, so hopefully some of these big winds won't be there as long as they were worried about a couple of days ago. But as far as the worst of it is definitely still late Monday night, overnight Monday into Tuesday morning. It's going to make that path across the island, and that's definitely going to be the worst of it. And anybody in Jamaica, we have a lot of folks obviously turn to us and news to understand what they're going to be feeling. And you got to remember the right side of these hurricanes are definitely the worst. And just the rain map, the western parts of the island luckily aren't showing a lot of rain. And that might be the case with the winds too. So the right side, east side of this thing is definitely going to be the worst. The west side, hopefully, will be spared serious impacts. And it will be moving kind of quickly through Tuesday. So there's a little good news. Like I was saying, a little to the south keeps that core off, the island a little more than we were worried about a couple of days ago. But a direct hit, nonetheless, is going to be terrible. I mean, we don't see Cat 5s make landfall very often, and we know what they can do. I mean, it is rare, and the damage is just tremendous.
And Mike, what you just said in terms of the timeline, the timing of when it's set to make landfall, that's in the overnight hours. And yes, people are preparing and they're evacuating and hopefully taking all of the precautions. But one still has to think that during those nighttime hours, that makes it even more challenging.
100%, 100%. And again, a lot of the folks there haven't experienced this level, of storms. And I think everybody's probably just cautious. There's a lot of not everybody's not believing it. You just worry that some might not be taking it serious enough. Again, a Cat 1, Cat 2 skirting by, at a good clip is a lot different than a slow moving Cat 4, Cat 5 that's going to be dumping this amount of rain. So it's about as serious as it can get. I mean, I'm one that tries to stay away from adjectives and, just stick to facts, but we don't see this very often. We don't see slow moving developing storms, and some of these models are still showing it to intensify even more. It's that water down there is so warm this time of year, and the upper level winds are very little wind shear. I mean, everything's working, and the fact that it's a little bit farther south now, it's going to have a lot less land interaction than it would have been if it was skirting the southern parts. So it's going to have a little bit of window to even try to get stronger. So when it does make that hook and turn to the north, it's going to be rough. Wherever this storm makes that landfall, again, the island's 145 miles wide, and if you have 25-mile from center hurricane force winds, you could figure 40, 50 miles wide hurricane force winds. That's a third of the island. And the other concern I have is if this goes to an eye wall replacement, which these powerful storms normally do, that wind field could expand. And depending on when that happens, that's what happened with Ian. Eye wall expansion expands the wind field, and that could be even wider reaching hurricane force winds. So it's definitely pretty serious.
Yes, and everyone needs to take it as seriously as you mentioned. I know you said you like to stick to the facts, but the fact that this is historic in nature is a fact in and of itself. Mike,
I mean, just look at it. Just look at it. Like this is insane. Okay, this is some really gnarly stuff. And I think that's without question. I think this goes without question that if they have not left yet, I'm saying we all should be praying for them, for every person that's in the area. And also, you got to remember too, the people that are in Cuba, all the people in Haiti, they are still getting something. Maybe the hurricane may not make Haiti's landfall, but Haiti is still getting hit, right? Dominican Republic is still getting hit. Cuba is next in line as well. So I am kind of wondering, like, what's going on with Cuba, right? I understand everybody's concerned about what's going on with Jamaica, but diggity damn, what's going on with Cuba too? Are they prepared? Have they left? Have they evacuated? Right? So again, the fact that this thing's moving very slowly is kind of creepy too. It's making me think 3-Eye Atlas. I'm sorry that it makes me think that, but at the same time, like, it's making me think 3-Eye Atlas. It's just sitting there looming. It's coming through. It's sailing through space. Eventually, it's going to get somewhere. Is it going to hit land? Is it going to hit America? I mean, not America. I'm sorry. Is it going to hit the globe? Hit Earth? I don't know, but it is pretty insane that is something that we're also worried about as well. Okay, I know some of y'all are not into that extraterrestrial, sci-fi crap, but let's be real. That 3-Eye Atlas thing is a very big concern as well. Let me play this other thing here really quick. Let's take a look at this. Come on.
Here in Kingston, Jamaica, the capital city, about 1 million people who reside here, and everyone is bracing. This is the calm before the storm. We are about 24 hours until initial major impacts with this heavy rain and winds. This track is tricky. It depends on where the landfall occurs, how west or how east it is to the capital city of Kingston. And that's an issue based upon what could occur here with so many different people in jeopardy. About 3 million people on the island nation of Jamaica. And everyone in the past 24 hours has realized the severity of what is ahead on this storm.
Jamaica, of course, everybody knows we have a history. We had Gilbert 37 years ago, and now we're having our first major hurricane since then. The government is very prepared. However, the infrastructure may just not be as ready. So we're busy cleaning up the drains, we're busy getting the homeless off the street, and we're busy making sure that all our first responders are equipped and resourced to work for the next week or so, handling the disruptions of power cuts, flooding, and any of the eventualities that comes with hurricanes like this.
We are preparing for multiple feet of rain, 2 to 3 feet of precipitation.
That they know of. Let me just say that. They say 2 to 3 feet, but it could be worse than that, right? So we'll see about all that.
The potential for catastrophic wind fields that may come in based upon the track of this. I mean, we're looking at maybe wind gusts over 150 miles an hour that could decimate structures here in Kingston and other areas.
We are looking on significant damage if this continues along this current trajectory. So we've asked persons to not wait until it gets to a point that it's difficult to evacuate or to save you, but rather to take early action.
And traversing the city of Kingston, so many people preparing and getting last minute goods. Stores have closed already, shelves have been emptied, and in some of the communities and the neighborhoods, there is a nervous feeling as to what is headed here. Hurricane Melissa is a monster, and government officials know that, and they know that the aftermath of this storm could potentially be historic, and aid will be needed.
I know it can feel isolating when you're on an island and you're cut off if you don't have communication or anyone, that you feel forgotten. But there have been people that have been preparing supplies and pre-positioning aid for a while now. And a lot of people are from the islands and they want to give back to their communities. They're donating. Our warehouse in Miami has been sending pallets nonstop since Beryl, and we'll continue to do that throughout the Caribbean region. It's not just supplies, it's hope in the box, and knowing that we're going to be here for the long term as long as it takes.
But the problem with all of this is will the airports be functional? You have the airport here in Kingston, which sits on a barrier island, and that will be compromised by storm surge, wind, and these heavy rains. Up in Montego Bay, that's another story. It depends on where the track of this storm goes. We hope that that area at least stays somewhat put together on the north end. That's where many tourists are hunkering down in hotels, and officials are warning tourists and others to stay inside and stay away from glass. Aid has to come in here after, and that will be the problem. We will have to see whether or not these airports are operational. Power outages will be massive, unfortunately, and that is one of the biggest concerns. Also, cell phone service, data, will we have that? Unsure, but when you have a potential category 5 coming in, odds are that we're going to be in a very dire situation for days to come. That's what we're concerned about here. Shelters are open. Officials want people to get to high ground if they can, because the flash flooding, because of all this rain, could make these streets into rivers. We're continuing to monitor.
Yeah, this is going to be, like I said, if it goes the way they're saying it's going, it's about to go down. Okay, it's about to get really, really crazy out here, for sure. I'm praying for everybody. Real talk. I'm really praying for everybody. Hold on, sorry guys. There's of course this like I said, I'm praying for everybody. I hope that this is, that I'm hoping that it's not as bad as they say it's going to be, but you know how it is. They say one thing and then it really means something else. But again, still, no matter what, there's some things I do want to talk to you guys about. And so, yeah, I wanted to squeeze these in really quick before we wrap up the show. And I know that there's something else that was sent to me as well. So I want to bring this up too, because this obviously, concerns a lot of people in everywhere. All right. Let me just say this really quick. Okay. We have got to talk about what's really going on here in America as well. Okay. So my thoughts and prayers are going on for Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, and and Bermuda, because you never know if that hurricane is going to really go and devastate all of those countries. But we're waiting to see that information, right? And when we're going to keep an eye on that Hurricane Melissa for sure, and seeing if she's going to rear her ugly ass face in these countries. So fingers crossed for that for sure. But here is what's going on. There's been a lot of interesting things going on as of late due to the government shutdown. Okay. And I know this is a little bit of a left turn, but it's definitely something that we need to talk about. All right. And so I want to bring a little bit of that conversation into this. Okay. Because right now, the end of the month is coming very, very soon. Halloween is Friday. Just for those y'all who don't know, Halloween is Friday. So the first of the month, November 1st, is Saturday. Now, that's usually when everyone, if you do use those kind of benefits like, SNAP or basically food stamps, glorified food stamps. If you get those kind of things, you use them at the first of the month, right? Now, there's a lot of concerns right now because a lot of states are now coming out and telling people, those that use SNAP or WIC or food stamps or anything of that sort, they have basically said, hey, we don't have the funds. We've run out. So if you're using SNAP benefits or food stamp benefits, you can't use it at all starting November 1st. Now, there's been a slew of things that have been playing on TikTok. People have been out here saying all kinds of stuff. Yo, we gonna raid. We gonna steal food. Like, you think my family's not gonna have a Thanksgiving? You out your mind. That kind of thing. All right. This whole government shutdown is really, really bad. And what's really sad about it is that everyone's too busy pointing the finger across the aisle rather than just trying to figure out what the problem is so we can get the government turned back on instead of it being shut down. All right. So it doesn't matter what side of the fence you were on. It is affecting many, many people, even the people that voted for Trump as well. Okay. It's not just going after and hurting one demographic. It's hurting many. Okay, it's hurting all. Let's just say that. All right, it is affecting everyone so much that there are people out there saying crazy and willing to do crazy things, maybe unthinkable things. Now, from T Money, thank you so much, T Money. I'm just gonna pull this up. Burglars break into local grocery store in Rogers Park, Chicago. Police say. Now, again, I'm gonna tell you this. The reason why I wanted to get this sent to me is because this is just a foreshadowing. Remember, I just told you what the date is today. It ain't even Monday yet. The first, and it's not even the first of the month yet. I'm telling you right now, and I'm not here trying to fearmonger. I'm just giving y'all a heads up. Don't even bother going to your local grocery store or your Walmart on the first of the month. Don't even waste your time. In fact, if you have to get your stuff right now. Don't go at the first of the month. Give it a few days. All right? Don't go on the first of the month. First of the month is going to be insane. I'll tell you what, the first of the month is already going to be insane. People have already been talking about this. They're already saying like a flash raid of grocery stores. You really think police are going to be able to stop everybody that's running out the door with carts filled with groceries? Think about that for a second, y'all, before you go on the first of the month to go grocery shopping. I'm talking about those who don't use the food stamps and whatnot. You just happen to run out of milk on the first of the month and you need to go get groceries and you need to re-up on things. I'm telling you right now, don't do it. Not a good idea. Don't even waste your time. Give it time. Give it a couple days. If you don't need the milk that bad, wait a few days or go get your groceries now. Because on the first of the month, or you know what? I'm saying starting this coming week, starting as soon as tomorrow, things are going to start to rev up. And I don't think it's going to be any good. Like we're hearing about this already. Burglars break into local grocery store in Rogers Park, Chicago. And this is just Chicago for right now. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see what's going on here. But I'm telling you right now, people are angry. People are very upset. And I'm telling you right now, the babies need to be fed too, y'all. The babies need to be fed too, y'all. They really do. And there's a lot of Americans that lean and really depend on that government help. They do. And now that's been stripped from their hands. So there's going to be a lot of people reacting to this and not in a very law-abiding way. So burglars targeted a neighborhood grocery store Sunday morning on the city's north side. The crime happened around 8:10 a.m. on the 6600 block of North Clark Street, Chicago, police said. Police said multiple thieves broke in through the front glass door. Once inside, they took money from the ATM and other items. Thieves took off in a silver car and a black SUV. This is what Chicago PD said. No further information on that, but and no arrests have been made so far. But nonetheless, people are starting to break into grocery stores now. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Whoops. Come on, man.
Burglars target a neighborhood grocery store in Rogers Park. Police say multiple thieves broke in through the front glass door. Once inside, they took money from the ATM and other items. It happened near Clark and Wallen after 8 this morning. The thieves took off in a silver car and a black SUV.
I'm telling you right now, this is a foreshadowing. This is just the warm-up. You understand that, right? This right here is just the warm-up. Because there are people are going to start getting desperate. It's not like they said, hey, it's not like the government went, or their local governments went, hey, hi, okay, so we just want to let you know we about to run out of funds to make sure you get your food stamps in the next 3 months. We just wanted to give you a heads up real quick. No, they said just last week, oh, by the way, we ain't got nothing for you starting November 1st. So sorry, good luck, Godspeed. Hope you can figure out how to put baby formula in your baby's mouths and food on the table. Good luck to you. Bye-bye. Now, how do you think the general public's going to react to that? People going to be pissed, okay? People going to be pissed. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Now you're seeing on TikTok people saying all kinds of wild and crazy things. And I'm telling you right now, you really think that you really think that the people out there are going to let their kids not have food in their mouths? You really think that they're not going to want to have at least a somewhat decent Thanksgiving this year? I'm just saying. We also have our men and women who fight for our country. They're standing in lines for food. They are already doing food drives, y'all. Food drives, okay? They're already doing food drives at local churches and schools, etc., for families so that they can feed their kids. This is absolutely crazy. And they literally ripped the rug out from under these people like that last week. And of course, everybody's going to react. And yes, I know there's going to be people out there going, oh, yeah, I see how your nails are done and your hair did and everything. Okay, let's be real. There's plenty of other people that are not rocking the nails and the hair, and they still need that government funding, but they don't have it anymore. I hope it doesn't turn out to be what they say it's going to be. But right now, the way it looks like with the government shutdown, it doesn't look like they're shutting anything down anytime soon. And I'm telling you right now, it may come to a place where things get very, very desperate and people take matters into their own hands to the point where there's crimes that go straight through the roof. And are we ready for that? Do we want that to happen? Because here's the other thing. Remember when we talked about this before and Trump said, hey, we're going to stop the craziness. We're going to stop the crime, right? We're going to stop the crime out here. And guess what happened? What happened, though? What happened? What's going on now? What could potentially happen now? Government shutdown is going on. Government shutdown is going on. And people who really, truly need that money won't have those funds. You don't think crime's going to go back up in all major cities? I'm just saying. And here's the other thing, too. Trump will call the National Guards, and that's exactly what he probably would want. But that's not what most of us want, right? We want crime down and peace in the streets without the need to deploy National Guards on our own people, right? And we want kids to be able to eat and not have to starve themselves, okay? Just because there's no funds. That is the sad part here, all right? But I'm telling you right now, this government shutdown is really bad. And it doesn't look like it's shutting down anytime soon. And what's even more frustrating is that now we got people, we already see the government pointing fingers at each other, going, oh, it's the Democrats' fault. No, it's the Republicans' fault. It's constantly pointing the finger. They need to get into a room and duke it out. And I mean that verbally. I don't mean physically. They just need to duke this out, figure this out so they could turn things back on so the people that really do need that funding can actually get it. We're talking about kids here, guys. We're talking about kids here. And I'm telling you right now, again, there are going to be people out here that are going to start doing wild things just so that they can put food on the table for their kids. Man, I saw a joke the other day. I'm not kidding. I saw a joke, and I don't know if it was real or not, but I saw it on Facebook, and somebody was like, yo, man, girls are going out again just to F for a meal now. Girls are going on dates just so they can eat a meal. It was a joke, but I'm like, oh, my God. What if? What if? That's crazy. Okay? I worry because here's the thing. Thanksgiving is coming up. Then we got the holiday. Okay, we already got that holiday coming up. And then there's Christmas. And if we're still marching into this on Christmas, you've seen all the looting and all the raid, the flash smash and grabs we've seen. You don't think that's going to go to an all-time high now? Because people are going to want to be able to give their loved ones gifts. And if they can't afford it, they're going to go take desperate measures to get what they believe is rightfully theirs. I'm telling you right now, this is not the right time for all of us. This is not the right time for all this to come to a head. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Like I said, I'm not here to fearmonger. I'm not here to make anybody paranoid. I'm just stating facts. And this is just a start. Because I'm telling you right now, the top of this month, people are going to be pissed. We ain't got time for that. PR, thank you so much for the love. My cousin lived in North Clark for years until last year. That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. But it's wild that we're going to be seeing. This could very well be the foreshadowing of what is to come here for all the things that are going on with that, with this whole no funding, period. Many states have already done that. Hey, by the way, we can't help you out. Sorry. good luck. Whenever everything gets turned back on, we'll figure it out. Let's talk about this other thing too, really quick. Okay. Trump is putting together and building a ballroom. Okay. I'm sure it's going to be of the likes you've never seen before. But here's the thing. He's taking $230 million or something like that. What about that $230 million being sent to funding for the people, for the kids and all that? We're spending all this money for a gold ballroom. And instead of that actually being put towards the things that are needed, a building is being built so he could stamp his name on it. I'm just saying, we got plenty of other problems here in this country. We got plenty of other things that we need to be focusing on, and we're not focusing on those things. We're focusing on a building that didn't even need to be made, didn't even need to be built. Okay? He's getting funding, by the way, from multiple entities, from the likes of Facebook, Apple, etc. Big wigs, very, very, very well-to-do people that could write one check. One guy could write one check. It would be a fat-ass check, but it would be one check that could help the millions of people that need food right now. Think about that. I want you guys to think about that when you are driving by and seeing a line out a food bank. I want you to think about that. When you watch that building get put together, get built, every single day that they do some sort of update about that doggone building, think about that for a second. There are millions of people that could use that funding. And those rich higher ups decided to take that money and put it towards funding a building. That's insane to me. Okay? That's insane to me. I will say that. Okay? That is insane to me. One last thing. Something else. Where is it? There it is. Okay, we definitely got to talk about this because I think this is crazy. Okay? This is absolutely crazy. Did you not know that the Louvre Museum, the Louvre Art Museum in Paris was robbed? That there was a heist that actually happened, like it's straight up out of like some Ocean's 11 movie, right? Well, 2 guys actually got arrested. 2 people, because they got dumb. They got sloppy and they got caught. Take a look at this. So arrests were made in the Louvre jewel heist, okay? This is what French prosecutors have said so far. So they're saying French police have made arrests in connection to this heist of this crown jewels that were Napoleon's, apparently, okay? So one of the men was arrested on Saturday while preparing to leave the country. He was actually about to hop onto a plane to Algeria. Yeah, he was about to leave the whole country. He was about to deuces, be out. Okay. Now, then they said this particular person, this prosecutor, okay, said that investigators are still working to recover the stolen jewels and locate all the perpetrators. So there's more than just 2 people that were involved in this situation. Adding, it is too early to provide any further detail. I will release information or additional information at the end of this period of police custody. So AFP reports that 2 men were taken into custody on suspicion of organized theft and criminal conspiracy. So the French Interior Minister Nunez congratulated investigators on Sunday with the same determination. Let's keep on, he posted. So a huge police operation has been underway to locate 4 thieves who were captured on camera making off with 8 pieces from the museum in a daylight robbery early last Sunday. They did this in broad daylight, successfully did this in broad daylight. The robbers arrived with a furniture lift truck, sliced through a window of the, of the museum, threatened guards, and smashed through 2 display cases, speeding off on scooters before police could respond. The stolen crown jewels have an estimated value of 88 million euros, which is $102 million, not counting their cultural, historical value to the French people. So the prosecutor also said that, the one that's office that's leading the probe condemned leaks appearing in the in French media, saying that hasty disclosure of this information by individuals who had knowledge of it without consideration for the investigation could consider progress or could hinder progress. I'm sorry. So investigators have raised fear that the thieves would be likely to melt down and break up the artifacts to sell them off. So the wrongdoers who took these gems won't earn 88 million euros if they had the very bad idea of disassembling these jewels. We can perhaps hope that they'll think about this and won't destroy the jewels without rhyme or reason. Well, here's the thing. If they were to just take this and run with it, right? The only way that they can actually sell the jewels at all is if they were to break it down. Let's be real. I said this in my short, but I'm going to ask it again now. How are you going to successfully sell off an artifact, in a historical artifact? How are you going to successfully say, hey, this used to be Napoleon's, without people actually knowing? You can't, whoever's the richest person in the world, it doesn't matter who decides to buy it, you can't put it out on display. You can only sit there and have it hold off somewhere, locked away, just so for your own mind to know that you have it, and that's it. You can't show it off with your friends. You can't go to the parties wearing it on top of your head, being like, this be mine. You can't do any of that. So why would you even want it in the first place? Just for the sake of saying you have it? It's dumb. And if they were to do that, yes, it won't earn $88 million anymore, or 88 million euros, or $102 million anymore, because the value would be destroyed. So of course, you have to sell it as is, in its entirety. Real talk. Okay? Yeah, shoot, I'd be wearing, man, if I could legally obtain a crown, and you know what I'm saying? I'd be wearing it every day. I'd be taking a shower with it, wearing it. You know what I'm saying? That is what I wear all day long. It'd be surgically attached to me brain. Okay? That's it. And I'd be like, no. Acknowledge me as I walk in. You know what I'm saying? I am seriously. You know what I'm saying? You know? And everyone have to stand up, and it'd be like, hear ye. You know? King Pascal has entered the room, and a little bit of a rollout of this red carpet and rose petals. I'd make one of my kids walk around throwing out rose petals from wherever my feet lay upon thy floor. There shall be rose petals underneath. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't you? I would. If I had that kind of money and I could have a freaking crown, mother love, man, I'd be like, you better, no. You know what I mean? I'd even have the rich white man laugh, okay? I'd be like, ha, ha, ha. You know what I'm saying? Rich white man laugh. That's what it'd be. That hearty laugh with the accent and everything. Oh. Pray tell, young squire. Pray tell. Ha, 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 ha. That's what I'll be doing. I don't know about y'all. King Pascal has entered the room. You know what I mean? Yes. Rose petals everywhere. Come on now. Wouldn't you? At least that's what I would do. I don't know about y'all. I mean, everybody got to have a dream. Everybody got to have a dream. That's just my dream, okay? You don't have to have my dream. Do you, okay? That's just my dream, all right? Straight up coming to America, all right? I wouldn't have to do a damn thing. I'd say, feed me grapes. Feed me grapes, you know? And as I eat, I'm lounging. You know how it is, like in like those Greek sculptures and stuff, they're just lounging, 6-pack, you know what I'm saying? And then grapes descending. That's what I'd want. Crown, lounge, 6-pack, grapes descending. That's all I want. That's all I want. And a little man playing a lute and a fawn playing a flute. That's what I want. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go ham with this. Okay? We going ham. Okay? We going straight up old school Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones type stuff. Okay? Just saying. I'm just being real, y'all. I'm just being real. That's what I want. It's a very simple ask. Lounging, 6-pack, grapes. Lute, flute, rose petals. Okay? Let's take a look at this.
Suspects in a daring heist at the Louvre Museum are now in custody. One of those suspects was arrested yesterday at the main airport in Paris. Officials say he was trying to fly to Algeria. The suspects broke into the Louvre last week, stealing $100 million in historical jewelry. Both men are reportedly from a Paris suburb.
Now, again, they apparently can only hold these two guys for 96 hours. 96 hours, and they were able to obtain DNA from the crime scene. So they slipped up somewhere. So they got these two guys. Apparently, they believe there's 4 guys that are involved in this situation, but they got 96 hours to figure out if these 2 guys truly are the guys. Then, of course, they got to get them to start squawking. They got to get them to start mother-loving squawking, and hopefully they do. But the question still remains, where are the jewels? Where are the jewels? That's the thing I want to know. Did they run off with it? What did they do with it? And why? Here's the other thing, too. Why these jewels? Why not the Mona Lisa? You know what I mean? Why not, I don't know, Starry Night, Monet's Starry Night or something like that, or some Picasso painting? Why that? Why those jewels of all things? I guess that's something we're never going to know until they start squawking. Hopefully they do. Okay? But vive la France, right? Vive la France. But anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. Thank you so much for spending the time with me. I got to hop off here, but we got some things to talk about tomorrow for sure. And if there's anything popping off when it comes to the hurricane, I'm keeping an eye on that big time. We will talk about that for sure. But please do me a favor before you head off. Okay. Oh, what up, Rook? Sorry, man. Thank you so much for being a member for the past 2 years. Over 2 years. I appreciate you. What's up, man? Good to see you, too. Sorry, I didn't see that until just now. But again, feed me grapes. Feed me grapes. Please do me a favor, though. Simple ask. Hit that like button down below before you head off. That would really, really mean a lot to me. If we can get to the 1K, that would be dope as hell. Also, please do me a favor. Crush that subscribe button. Crush it. Do what it do. Hit that reaction button. If you're watching on these other platforms, hit that notification bell so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. That'd be greatly appreciated. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Check it out. Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. Much love to you guys. Stay safe out there. And I'm praying for all y'all in the Caribbean. All right? Stay safe. Find shelter. Evacuate if you can now. We'll be talking here soon. God bless you guys. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.